In this video today we will be going over the common bluegrass tune, Lonesome Road Blues, and looking over some maybe new little licks and things to play on it. This is not going to be the breakneck speed Lonesome Road Blues that I think a lot of people have kind of come to play. It's going to be more of the Earl Scruggs kind of tempo, J.D. Crowe tempo tune, and we'll use some single string things and some licks that I've learned from other players, and it's going to have everything. And it's kind of a mishmash where I've thrown all kinds of things in, like a lot of people do on FMB, and I'll try to remember all I can and play it in these two videos for the right and left hand of the banjo. So before we begin, we'll get in tune, as we always do, 4th string to D. 1st string to D as well. 3rd string to G. 5th string to G. And the last string B. Okay, here we go on Lonesome Road Blues. And slower, like this. Now, a couple things that off the bat, obviously, that you probably noticed was the single string lick and the C lick, the up the neck lick and the single string lick, that both took a play on the C chord. The up the neck lick was, and the lower lick was. And I devised that, actually. That's taken from Alan Mundy. On this song, he actually does that. And I just put it lower. And, you know, brought in a little Don Reno. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I thought I'd mention that because I like that lick. But before we get ahead of ourselves, Alan, if you're watching, sorry I stole that. Actually, I didn't quite steal it. He and I actually worked on that lick a little bit. I heard him do that, and I asked him, quick story here, I heard him do that lick at a Camp Bluegrass a couple years ago and last year. And I asked him about it in class, and he showed me, because I actually didn't know what he was doing. And we discussed the lick after class, and I had I talked about adding a finger. He's holding, and I added a second note in there. I added the C note where he just was holding the the A note, kind of like a. And so we actually kind of modified the lick, and we kind of created my version and his version. But so it's not, I'm not really stealing the lick from him. But anyway, back to the tune. I digress. Up the neck, just like Earl. And I go to a pinch there, not the choke. And I wanted to avoid chokes in this just because I like hearing the banjo ring. And on the choke, you kind of lose a little bit of the ring. I don't have anything against chokes, but I wanted to keep the banjo ringing, so just like Earl, sliding from the 8th fret to the 12th fret and picking with the index finger. Minor position. Change up here, going back to the original motif. So instead of ending on that typical D lick, we actually go to G, which is pretty easy. You're just doing a lot of forward roll. And I won't tell you the IMT hand position on that, just because, you know, it's pretty straightforward. It's just quarter note, quarter note, forward roll, quarter note, forward roll. And it's just a new take on it, because most of the time we come out of that song that's how I've heard most people end that song, and I figured I'd come out of the C chord. Unconventional. Then the second time we went into that, same thing. Then we stay. Got to go through that entire motif again slowly. Same thing as before. And right after that E, D note, it gets different. And that's just quarter notes picked with the middle finger and forward roll on the high G. And so play as slow as I can again. Second time into the A, second time into the high break. Then the C chord, instead of the low C octave, we go to the first inversion C. Second inversion bar C. So to recap that whole second break, high break to Lonesome Road Blues. And then for the second C chord, we bring in this little Alan Mundy / me lick. And then the song closes out. And we prepare to go to the 2 low breaks that you heard earlier. Now this lick, this C lick, the lick that's played on the second C chord in the high break, I'll play it as slow as I can. And that includes the G lick that it resolves to. So again, as slow as it can. It's actually a forward-backward roll. That's the actual fingering, so I'll play the open strings as slow as I can. Again. And with the notes, it sounds like this. A little faster this time. Notice I'm ghosting the thumb as I come back down and I head into the G. That's because you're not really fretting, and you'll see this in the fretting video. You're not really fretting the third string. You're actually muting it after you get off the C chord. You can kind of hear it there. You're actually muting it, and what you're doing is you're giving yourself a half beat to recover to the partial G chord you're holding at the 9th fret. But the song closes out from there to the typical D. And we slide down and get ready to the open string stuff. And the open string stuff is hammer-ons, just like Foggy Mountain Breakdown and all those other songs that use that. And a little Jim Mills lick here from Sled Riding. And then we have the imitation, the first C chord on the low break. We have the imitation of the cool C lick from Alan Mundy. Little Don Reno there. And so to recap this first low break, the third break in the song. And so we're coming off of the G7. And it's that little that prepares us heading on down, because this lick takes place primarily at the F note. So to get back down, typically what would follow this G7 lick that typically would be where that would follow, go higher and higher. But to go lower from that lick, we use our clever little pull off, and the open strings are 3, 2, 3, 1. And that prepares us to do this little single string hop where you place the thumb pick on the 4th string. You hit the open 3rd string, thumb goes on the 3rd, index picks the open 3rd, thumb picks the fretted 3rd, index picks the open, and the thumb thumb picks the fretted fourth. So speed it up, sped up a little bit from the pull off. Sorry if I'm a little off. My thumb pick has got a little notch in there from this new four string that's catching every once in a while. But coming off of this pull off, play that lick as slow as I can. And that's the first time it's played. Coming off of that slide, we do it again. And we go into the second low break, which concludes actually the breaks that we take on the song. Continue with the hammer-ons. But we still keep that forward roll going. Now that C lick is a combination. You're holding the second inversion C that is the lowest C you can do on the G-tuned banjo, and you're play that lick as slow as I can. It's kind of inverted. I worked that up on the fly. Excuse me. It's actually hard to play slower. Slow as I can. And so at a little faster tempo, the way that would sound would be starting at the second low break. And that closes the song out, and then we just end with a little tag. But that is about all. I will play the song one more time through at moderate speed to give you the context of where all these things have happened, and if needs be to see where all of these things fit. And you can go back and rewind the video course and listen in detail to any of these things. But so here we go on Lonesome Road Blues, moderate tempo. Thanks for watching.